Now here's the last horse in the field, École Etage, who may not be the last horse, certainly at the 3/4 mile pole. He is circling around, and here is a large family. And here is trainer Buddy Delp, who's going to talk to Frank.
Buddy, they talk speed when they talk about you here, and I'm not asking you to commit yourself, but you certainly know this track better than any of the trainers in this race. You've run more times than any of them put together on Pimlico Racecourse, and I suppose you're aware of the turns, and your strategy might be speed on the turns.
Yes, Frank. This track is a speed race track, and I have a speed horse here, and we're gonna give him a run.
They're not going to be able to loaf and get to the front, are they?
They're not going to be able to loaf the first part of it.
Well, your horse looks fine, Buddy, and I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Behind Buddy is one of the largest families here. There are 2 brothers Meyerhoff with 2 wives and lots of children. Certainly there will be more rooting than by any other group you can imagine. So you've seen the field, and pretty soon you're going to see the field running, and we give you now back for a word. Do you think, Frank, that horses always look good before a big race, but is it the sunshine or is it marvelous conditioning? They all seem to have a glow.
They do indeed, Woody. These trainers have brought them here in top shape, and all these horses are very pacific in this outdoor paddock. I think today, Woody, that the horses are subject to so much more traffic, so much more handling, that they're much more adjusted to their surroundings than horses of 10 or 25 years ago when even I started in this.
I do note that École Etage is getting a surprising amount of support. Do you suppose that's because he is locally owned or because it's fat, sharp turns or what?
Well, I think you've covered both of the situations, Woody. He is a local favorite. BBB did win the race last year, a Maryland horse, and this horse obviously is going to be allowed to take the lead, and I think there are people here that think he might steal it with that strategy.
It would be hard to steal if Secretariat breaks well, I think, is what people are thinking, if he doesn't drop back. But there is in everyone's mind, I'm sure, the image of Riva Ridge, of whom we said last year all the things we're saying of Secretariat this year, and coming lonely and covered with mud down there. He's not going to be covered with mud today, anybody. This track is fast. Is it lightning fast? Does it suggest a record?
It does, and one of the leading clockers of the country, Gene Schwartz, down here from New York, said that the track might lend itself to a track record, but he thinks the wind might be a deterring factor.
Well, what is this, a 5-mile-an-hour breeze or something? Can that make a difference?
It does, Jack, and the tiring horse running against the wind in the stretch is somewhat slowed down.
But with 6 horses, a record is hard, too, isn't it? Doesn't it require somebody, 2 horses out there and 2 horses going at them?
Well, I think, again, our friend trainer Buddy Delp might be the big factor if he would go ahead and set a torrid pace.
I think we're going to hear a marvelous call here in a moment, the sound of the bugle.
Stand right here, Nick. Get your seat back there? Yeah, that's a good place to stand right here. You don't get talking to the speaker here.
Riders are up as we look at Ron Turcotte aboard Secretariat number 3. They will move out now onto the track where the tradition has it at the Preakness. You will hear Maryland, My Maryland, today to be sung by the chorus of the Chesapeake from Dundalk, Maryland. Maryland, My Maryland, and the Preakness song. They're on the track. Sham already out, number 1. Followed there by Deadly Dream, and there is number 1, Lafitte Pincaille up. 2 teeth lighter than he was 2 weeks ago, but looking in excellent shape. Deadly Dream, number 2. A real long shot for this 1973 Preakness. Anthony Black is the jockey. And the big horse, number 3, Secretariat, in the very identifiable blue and white blocks of Meadows Stable. Ron Turcotte, the very distinctive 3 white stockings. And our native, number 4, Don Brumfield up. This is the horse that we showed you earlier in the Kentucky Derby starting gate. Got really whacked by Twice the Prince, but apparently came out of it all right. I just thought if that hadn't happened, he'd have been closer to the winner in the Derby. He would not have won it, they said, but he would have been closer, and they think he might have a chance here. My Maryland, My Maryland. field now, just making the turn after the post-parade. They're making the serpentine turn. It was at this point a few years ago that a horse named Nasker was almost flown into the sky when the band struck up at that moment. And up in the boxes looking down now, and of course very nervous, that's Lucian Lauren, the trainer of Secretariat in the red coat, and Mrs. Tweedy next to him. A marvelous story on Secretariat that some of you new racing fans might not know. But he came to the Meadow stable by a flip of the coin. Mrs. Tweedy having sent Something Royal, the dam, to Bold Ruler. And the Phipps won the first. They won the toss of the coin and took the first of that get. And Mrs. Tweedy got the second. Well, the second one turned out to be Secretariat. And such sometimes are the fortunes in horse racing. Horses moving back up here now, breaking into a canter as they'll begin warming up. Looking down at that beautiful Secretariat, whose conformation is said to be almost perfect. Seems to be moving very well, and we'll have Frank Wright to describe that a little later. This is Sig Summer, the owner of Sham, who is, of course, very interested here today. He's very competitive and has had really some tragic luck in racing. Last year, 4 fine horses of his had to be destroyed, including the great Autobiography. And he picked up Sham, who had not won a race. He had raced 3 times and had not won. He bought him for $200,000 from Bull Hancock. And immediately the horse started to win under Pancho Martin. So there's a lot going here for Sigmund Summer today as he watches Sham take on Secretariat for the 3rd time. Now Frank Wright, somewhere on the backstretch.
Thank you, Jack. I'm over here past the half-mile pole, waiting for some of the horses to warm up. An unusual sight here. The overfull crowd has come out on the turf course, awaiting, as I am, some of the horses to appear here in their warm-ups. The horses that they're going to watch, they know the obvious reason for watching their warm-up. It's like the equine athlete and the human athlete. They must loosen up before one of their athletic endeavors. And here they come. The first in the parade of warm-ups, Ecole Etage, moving well, and chances are as a speed horse. And in order to prompt himself quickly and make an early pace, he's taken a good warm-up. Coming by me now, the handsome Sham, Lafitte Pincay in the irons, with a sponge under the girth. He's now broken down into a trot. No sweat has appeared, but he's thoroughly warmed up and sound. Right behind him, Secretariat, big flashy chestnut in the sun. Ron Turcotte has settled him down to a walk. He'll turn him around momentarily with both of their lead ponies keeping him from getting out of hand. Here, right beside me, number 4, Our Native, with Don Brumfield in the saddle, and he too has settled back down. None of these horses are showing any nervousness, and they're all warming up very well. One of the things these riders will now do is check their equipment. They're put on in the paddock and at the barn, but the final check has to be made in motion. And should there be anything wrong, they'd return the horse to the starting gate for repairs. Or should it be a saddle problem, the horse would have to go back to the paddock because of the weight problem. Also, each rider, from years of experience, is subconsciously checking for soundness. Was there some late injury, undetected? Is the horse perfectly healthy and able to make the final step into the starting gate? If this feeling came to them from his way of moving, he would be taken to the starting gate and shown to Dr. Murphy, the track veterinarian here stationed at the starting gate, and he'd be given a thorough examination. The horses are now going back towards the starting gate, and I return to Jack Whitaker.